Hi everyone, my name is Daud Ali, and I welcome you all to Shiv Jyoti online classes. I hope your exams went well, and by the way, I have a good news for you. But before that, I would like to congratulate you for successfully attending the exams. Your performances have been awesome. So the good news is that from today onwards, we are going to start our term 2. So are you all ready to study? Let's begin. Chapter 8. Chips. Come on, do not laugh. It might be a very serious story. You know, in today's world, for you and for me and for the entire human race, these chips are very common. But 100 years ago from now, these chips were very rare and people did not know much about chips. People did not know the recipe of making chips. People have never eaten these chips and they had never seen such chips. So our story is about chips, and what is it about? Let's get into the story. Let's find out what the story is exactly about. Once upon a time, in a big faraway country, there lived a small family. The country was at war. There was very little food for the people. So the poor family always went hungry. So it's a story, as I was telling you, it's a very serious story, and this story is about the people, about the family who always go hungry and they do not have much to eat since it's a war time. War times are very bad times when two countries fight, you know, there is always scarcity of food, and war is not good for anybody. War is very bad. So it's a story of wartime. One day, early in the morning, two foreign soldiers, a party of the army who had occupied their country, knocked on their door. Knock, knock, knock. Knock, knock. They pushed a sack into mother's hand and asked her to make them chips for their lunch. So first of all, we will begin from here, a part of the army who had occupied their country. So at the time of war, what happens when two countries fight with each other? The army of the winning country start to rule over the country that is defeated. So here, the army of the winning country is ruling. The army of the country, they are, you know, soldiers. These soldiers are ruling over this country and they have occupied their country. And one morning, there is a knock on the door of this family. Knock, knock, knock. Mother is asking, who is this? Who is this? She's asking from inside. And as she opened the door, she has found two soldiers and they have pushed a sack towards her. The meaning of the word sack is jo bori hoti hai, that is sack. So they have pushed a sack. They've given her a sack very rudely. They're pushing a sack, and then they say, we will be back at 12 noon, said the dark-haired soldier. Have the chips ready by then. So here, the dark-haired soldier is very rude and he is instructing the mother that keep the chips ready and we'll be back at 12 noon and we want to have the chips for lunch. So I have a question for you here, and this is going to be your internal question. Why was there very little food for the people? If you have heard me carefully, if you were listening carefully, I'm sure you will be able to answer this question. Why was there very little food for the people? Because the country was at war. At the time of war, there is scarcity of food, and war is not at all good for anybody. So they say that they would be back and they wanted to have the chips for their lunch, and with that the soldiers turn around. And you need to write this question just like this in your book, and you can mark the answer here, right here, just like this. You do not need to write this in your copy. Just mark the answer here and write the question like this on this page of your book. Alright? Now we will move further in the story, and with that the soldiers turned around and headed off towards the neighboring farm. So after saying this, they just went away towards the neighboring farm. There is a farm also around their house. By this time, the entire family had come scurrying down the stairs to see what was happening. So imagine this situation. They are coming downstairs. This scene has taken place in the house upstairs. The meaning of the word scurrying here, when you move with fear, they are afraid. All right, they're moving with fear and they're taking short steps. That is the meaning of the word scurrying. So they are afraid and with fear. All of them, they walk downstairs and they want to see what is happening. Actually, this scene has taken place on downstairs, and other family members, they were upstairs. So they are coming downstairs now. and they are very afraid. They want to know what has happened. What are chips? Mother asked them, but no one had ever heard of such a thing. Mother asked the family, what are chips? Now, oh my God, what are chips? I have never heard such term before. What is chips? You know, is it an edible item? I have never known such item before. How are we going to make chips? Cried mother. And mother, you know, here the word cried is not necessarily means that she's crying with tears. It means that she is very irritated. How are we going to make it when we do not know about it? That's the way she's saying. We don't even know what they are. They don't even know what they are. See, I was telling you, once upon a time, there was a time when people did not know about chips at all. Shouldn't we open the sack first? The children pointed out. So you remember the sack? They rudely pushed to the mother's hand. They handed over a sack to the mother. So the children has said, Mama, Mama, why don't we open that sack first? We have that sack with us. Why don't we open that? Let's see what's inside it. Mother hurriedly opened up the sack to reveal big, muddy, white, fleshed new potatoes. So as they have opened this sack, imagine that I have a sack in my hand and I'm opening it, and what have they found in the sack? They have found these big, muddy, white, fleshed new potatoes. So the sack is full of potatoes. So this leads us to our question number 2 of internal question and answer. Are you ready? Let's see. What did the mother hurriedly open up? Children pointed out, Mama, should we open the sack? And what did the mother do then? Were you listening? Yes, you were. The answer is, mother hurriedly opened up the sack of potatoes. The sack was full of potatoes. There were so many potatoes in the sack. All right. Here the word reveal means to show, to let out. All right. And the word muddy means full of mud. Since their potatoes are, you know, there are so many potatoes and they are all muddy. They are full with, there's so much mud around them and in the sack. The family gasped in amazement. They had not seen so many potatoes since the beginning of the war. So they were amazed to see, they were surprised, oh my God, so many potatoes. Because at the time of war, there is scarcity of food. You know, people are hungry, people do not live their life, they don't live their life according to the usual standards. At war, it's very bad. Situations in war are always bad. So they were amazed and they were surprised to see so many potatoes, because since the war has begun, they hadn't seen anything like that. Now grandma spoke up. Don't be silly, she said. We know how to cook potatoes. We will peel and boil them for the soldiers. Then we will make a soup from the peelings for ourselves. Come on children, let's begin. So the grandmother seems to be a very wise person, and she has advised them. She said, come on guys, don't be silly. At least we know how to make potatoes. So what are we going to do? We are going to peel the skin off of the potato, and we are going to boil the potatoes, and we will serve such food to the soldiers. We will do whatever we know. We will cook however the way we know to cook. So we are going to cook the way we know how to cook, all right? And the remaining peelings, we will use that for ourselves, for our food. Come on children, let's begin. So she has filled the children with positivity and with hope, and they are now doing what they know. She gave each child a handful of potatoes to wash and peel. When that was done, she built a fire in the grate and hung a big cooking pot over the flames. Then she poured in fresh water and the chopped potatoes. So then grandmother has given everybody handful of potatoes. The meaning of the word handful is mutti bhar ke pura, is tarah se. Then she has handed over handful potatoes to everybody to wash and peel. So everybody is on the work now. They're all doing their work. They're busy in their work. Here the meaning of the word grate is fireplace. This looks like the fireplace on which they will be cooking. They will be keeping the pot over the flames and they will cook the potatoes there. Alright. The whole family sat around the open fire watching the water bubble and boil. So their whole family, they're sitting around. Imagine that there is fire and on that there is a pot and they're cooking and they are all You know, they're all sitting together around the open fire, and they're just watching the cooking, and it's a thing of beauty. I'll show you. I'll try to give you an idea. See, these are all the family members. They're all sitting together and watching this, and here potatoes are being cooked and they're all watching it. All right? Then what will happen in the story? Worry not, for I am still here and we are going to discuss the story. Please be with me, do not go anywhere. These soldiers made a big fuss for this. The youngest child said thoughtfully, "Boiled potatoes are not so special," said the eldest. That's when the grown-up started worrying. "Let's add some herbs," said grandma, putting some into the pot. So, you know, when there are kids in the family, they are always talking all the time, good kids like you all. So, these children are talking to each other, and one of them said, "Boiled potatoes? I don't think they are very special. I don't think boiled potatoes are very tasty." And the adults of the house, the elder ones, they have heard this and they started to worry. "Oh, yes, the children are right, the kids are right. Boiled potatoes are not very tasty, and what if the soldiers get angry?" So, listening to this, grandma said, "Let's add some herbs." And she started to put some herbs into the pot. "And a few mushrooms," said grandpa. The grandmother said for the herbs, and grandfather said for mushrooms. So they are adding herbs and mushrooms also in the potatoes. "Of course," cried mother, and sent the children to the forest to collect the juiciest mushrooms and berries. And mother said, "Yeah, you are right. We need to put mushrooms and herbs into the potatoes, otherwise soldiers won't find it tasty." So the mother has sent the children, "Go children, please go children and bring some mushrooms, the juiciest ones, and berries from the forest." So the children have gone to the forest to bring the mushrooms and berries. When they returned, everyone added just a few more ingredients, and then a few more and a few more, still until they had made a pot of a delicious smelling stew. So they kept on adding ingredients. The meaning of the word ingredient are the items that we use to cook something. Next time you buy a packet of biscuit or chips or anything, just see at the back side of it, you will find ingredients, and you'll be able to know what are the items that have been used to cook that particular type of food. They are ingredients. So for this potato, ingredients are mushroom and herbs and potatoes and other things. These are the ingredients for this particular dish. And the smell, it has become very delicious now, smelling stew now. And here, this leads us to our question number 3 of internal question. What did the mother make for the soldiers instead of chips? So as you have been with me till now, you have learned that they are not making chips because they do not know about chips. They are making something else. Instead of chips, they are making something else. And what is that? That is stew. Here you have your answer. You can write this question on your book like this. Write this question on your on this page and mark this answer here, stew. All right. The sumptuous smell wafted around the little kitchen. The children's bellies rumbled and their eyes grew wide with hunger. So they started to smell this good food. And then they started to feel more hungry because they have been very hungry now. At wartime, there is very less food, and this family is most of the times, you know, they get to sleep hungry. There is not much food there with them. So maybe it's after a very long time that they are getting to eat some good food, and they are getting to smell some good food. So they are getting prepared to eat this food. "When can we eat?" they asked. "Mama, when can we eat? We are feeling very hungry and the smell is so nice." And "When the soldiers leave," said mother, covering the pot with a lid so that the smell would not tempt them. Just then there came a knock at the door. It was 12 noon. So they were just having their conversation. They wanted to eat, and mother was covering the pot with a lid. Lid is, you know, she has covered the pot with a lid so that the smell would not tempt them, so that they do not tempt. The meaning of the word tempt is to attract, is to make somebody do something. so they do not get tempt, it won't tempt them. So that's why she has covered the pot. Just then there came a knock at the door. It was 12 noon. So finally it is 12 noon and knock, 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 knock. There is a knock on the door. Soldiers are here. What is going to happen now? Let's see. Sit still, mother whispered to the children, and hide the peelings for our soup. So they were going to make the soup for themselves as they have decided. So mother the mother has asked the children to hide the peelings, and she said sit still. She didn't say, actually she whispered. Meaning of the word whisper is to talk like this. Sit still. When we talk like this is whisper. Alright, this is whispering. Then she opened the door and invited the soldiers to sit at the table in the little kitchen. So they have a very little kitchen, and mother has very politely, with so much courtesy, she has invited the soldiers. She has invited the soldiers to come and eat and to sit at the table. The family watched the soldiers as mother carried the pot from the fire to the table. The fair-haired soldier took some rye bread from his pocket and tore off chunks to share with his friend. What if they don't like it? What will they do? The family wondered. So they are now here. Mother is going to serve them the food. Mother has brought the pot, and she is going to serve the fair-haired soldier. You remember this person? He was very rude in the beginning. He came with the sack and he ordered the fair-haired soldier. He took out some rye bread from his pocket. He has brought some rye bread with him, and he tore off chunks to share with his friend. So this rye bread is like chapati that we eat, but it's different. It's like a bread. It's a kind of chapati. It's a kind of roti for them. So this word chunk means big pieces. So he tore off chunks to share with his friend. There are two soldiers. He took out the rye bread and made it two, gave it to a friend, and he kept one with him. And they are now going to eat, taste, try the thing that they have cooked. Although inside their heart they are expecting it to be chips. Let's see. What if they don't like it? What will they do? The family wondered, and the family, with worry, they started to wonder what will happen. Will they like it or not? Oh my God, what will happen? They are scared. Deep down inside their heart, they are worried, they are scared. Mother lifted the lid from the pot. The soldiers both stared in disbelief as she ladled the potato broth into their bowls. So they are sitting on the table, one bowl here in front of this soldier, one bowl here in front of this soldier. Mother has come with the pot. She opened up the lid and she's serving them the food, and it's the stew. It's not the chips. And soldiers are in shock and they said, oh my God, what is this? They stared in disbelief. They can't believe this because it's completely opposite of what they were dreaming about. They were expecting chips, and it was completely a different thing for them. Let's see what happens next. Are they going to get angry? Are they going to fire some guns? Let's see. Please be with me. Do not go anywhere, for we will find what is with the story. What is this? Cried the soldiers. We want chips. They said, what is this? We want chips. We want to eat this. We wanted you to cook chips for us. You have cooked this thing. So they are very angry. They seem to be very angry. We have a picture of soldiers here. Look at these soldiers. They have the ball, and the mother, the pot. She has served them. The children looked on worried as mother explained, this is how we cook chips. And the children were worried. Obviously, why wouldn't they be worried? They are, being rude with their mother right in front of their eyes. So children are worried, and they are thinking, and mother is explaining, sir, this is how we cook chips. This is the way we make chips. She's explaining, she's trying to explain this to the soldiers. Sit down, the fair-haired soldier interrupted. I am hungry. Let's at least try this. And he lifted his spoon, gently blowing so that the steam curled around his hands. So he interrupted. Fair-haired soldier, you remember this person? This person has been rude since the very beginning of this story. He said, sit down. and I'm going to try this. I'm very hungry. Whatever it is, I'm going to at least try this. And he lifted his spoon gently, and he started to blow. The food seems to be very hot. He's trying to make it a little cooler, cold enough to be eaten. Here the word interrupted means to talk in between or to not let somebody else talk. You know, imagine this situation when your parents are talking to each other, or when two of your friends or two of your siblings or two of your teachers are talking to each other. When you want to speak in between, you say, "Excuse me, sorry for interrupting." Then you begin what you have to say. All right? So next time when you see your parents talking to each other and you want to say something important to them, you would say, "Excuse me, sorry for interrupting." Then you will start saying whatever you want to say. All right? This is the way. So this is the meaning of this word interrupted. The potatoes were hot. What if they are too hot? Grandpa shuddered. Potatoes are hot and Grandpa is afraid, and he said, what if the potatoes are too hot? Are they going to be, you know, angrier? Are they going to be very angry with us? Let's see. At last the fair-haired soldier put the spoon to his mouth and slurped. "Well," asked the dark-haired soldier. The fair-haired soldier spat the potatoes all over the table. "What is this swill?" he shouted, his face twisted in anger. He got up from the table and hoisted his rifle across his shoulder. Mother stepped back in fear. The children cowered. So finally, he has tasted the stew, and the meaning of the word slurped is to you know, slowly eat something, and he has finally tasted and he spat. This is the past form of the word spit, and to spit means to do this. So he has taken out everything from his mouth. That is the meaning of the word spit. So he spat, which is a very bad thing. We should not spit anywhere or everywhere, wherever we want to. Spitting is a bad thing. So spat the potatoes all over the table. What is this swill? He is very angry. What is this swill? What have you cooked? Is this what you say, chips? He is very disappointed. He is very angry. The meaning of the word swill is something that has an unpleasant taste, a food with unpleasant taste. So he is angry, and then he has taken out his rifle. Imagine that this is a rifle, and he is doing something like this with his rifle, and they are all worried, scared, and afraid now. See, mother stepped back in fear as the soldier hoisted his rifle like this. Mother started to step back in fear, because she's afraid. She's full of fear. And why wouldn't she be? It's a wartime. Let's see what happens next. Children are also worried, and why wouldn't they be? "I'm sorry," said mother, moving away from the table. "It's our favorite recipe." "Favorite recipe, it's swill," he repeated, almost laughing. And mother said, "I'm sorry, sir, but it is our favorite recipe. We have tried our best. This is the best food that we cook." And she's also afraid at the same time. And favorite recipe? Favorite recipe, it's swill. That's how rude and arrogant the soldier is being with the poor mother. This is the way he said. "Come on," the dark-haired soldier called to his friend. "Let's leave. People here don't even know how to cook chips." Ha! And why? And with that, they both walked out of the house, laughing to themselves. So the soldier said, "Come on, let's leave. People here don't even know how to cook chips." So this soldier said to his friend, the other soldier, "Let's leave. People don't even know how to cook chips here." And they are, with their arrogance, they started to laugh, and they walked away. They left without eating. They only tasted just a little, and they didn't like it, and they left. The children waited, noses pressed to the kitchen window, watching them go. So children are in the kitchen. They are hiding there, and they are watching from the kitchen, and the way they are watching, their noses pressed to the kitchen window. All right, imagine there is a window here, and they are watching like this. Their noses are being pressed with the glass window, and they are afraid, and they are hiding there, and from there they are watching, and they have seen that the soldiers are going now. When they were sure the soldiers would not return, they added the potato peels to the pot along with more herbs for extra flavor and cooked it up. They dunked big chunks of the soldier's rye bread into the steamy stew. Oh, good news. The soldier has left the rye bread there until their tummies were full. It was the most wonderful stew they had ever tasted. So we have a happy ending here. What has happened? They have left, and it's like a treat for them now. It's a party for them. They have cooked so much and they have so much to eat, and in such a difficult time they have so much to eat, and they are ready to eat, and they are going to eat the food now, and they enjoyed their food and they loved it, and according to them it was the most wonderful stew that they had ever tasted. It was the most wonderful stew that they had ever tasted. So and the story is written by Deb Scott Lovrick. We should always give credit to the writers because they play a very important role. The name of the writer is Deb Scott Lovrick. He has written this beautiful story. So what did we learn from this story? We have learned that trying is important. They did not know how to make chips, but they cooked what they knew. They at least tried. So trying is very important, children. We should never give up without trying. We should always try. They tried, and in the end they won. Children, we have found some new words in this story, and we are going to talk about them one by one. All right? Here we go. Interrupted. To interrupt means to speak in between or to stop somebody else from speaking. I told you what to do, all right? Next time you see two people talking to each other and you want to convey some important message, first say, excuse me, sorry for interrupting, then convey your message, all right? Great. The meaning of this word is fireplace on which they were cooking. As you saw the beautiful drawing. Scurrying means to walk with fear and to take small steps. When you are afraid and when you walk with fear, that is scurrying. Muddy, full of mud. Ingredients, all the things which are used to cook a particular dish or item. Next time you see a packet of biscuit or chips, just turn it back and read it. You'll be able to find all the ingredients there. It's going to be very interesting. Do this. Whisper means to speak like this. When we are speaking like this, this is whisper. All right, this is whisper. This is whisper. All right. This is the meaning of whispered. Swill means unpleasant taste of some food. Spat is the past tense of spit. Spat, it's a very bad thing. We should not spit anywhere and everywhere, wherever we want to. We should not spit, you know, it's a very bad mannered thing. Peel, to take out the skin of potato with the help of a knife. That's the meaning of the word peel. Chopped, to cut down, to cut, that's chop. Then we have word meanings. Sumptuous means delicious. The meaning of the word delicious. The meaning of the word delicious is food with good taste, or anything, any edible item, especially dishes with good taste, that is delicious. Wafted, passed gently through the air. Sometimes when you are in the kitchen, or sometimes when you are around the kitchen and your mother is cooking something very interesting in the kitchen and you are able to smell the food, the passed gently through the air, the smell of that food when passed gently through the air, that is the meaning of the word wafted. Slurped, drank with a loud sucking noise. You remember the scene? That soldier was slurping. He had the spoon in his hand. This is slurped, all right? Shuddered, trembled with fear, you know, to tremble with fear. This is shuddered. Now we are going to talk about question and answers. Are you all ready? Set? Let's go. Answer the following questions. What did mother ask the family when they came downstairs? Why? So the family came downstairs right after when the soldier left. And what did mother ask the family and why did she ask? Let's find out the answer of this question. Mother asked the family if they knew what chips were. They asked them, do you know where are chips? Because the foreign soldiers had just handed her a sack and asked her to cook chips for their lunch. So the foreign soldier he handed over a sack of potatoes and asked her to make chips for their lunch, about which she did not know, and her family also did not know anything about it. Why was the family so surprised when they opened the sack? They were very surprised when they opened the sack. And why did that happen? Let's find out in the answer. The sack was full of big new potatoes. The family was surprised because they had not seen such a huge number of potatoes since the war began. So since the war began, they hadn't seen so many potatoes, a huge number of potatoes. That's why they were surprised that out of the blue, out of nowhere, suddenly they got to see a sack full of potatoes. So they were very surprised. Why did mother want the children to sit still? So there was a point in the story when mother asked the children to sit still, don't move, sit still. To sit still, like keep sitting without moving, that is sit still. Mother did not want the soldiers to be disturbed or annoyed. She also wanted to protect children and keep them safe. So there were two reasons behind that. Number one, she did not want the soldiers to be disturbed, and she did not want soldiers to get annoyed. And number two, which is more important one, she wanted to protect her children and keep them safe, because by any chance if the soldiers would get annoyed or disturbed, they might try to harm the children, or they might, do something which they should not do. So that's why she wanted to protect her children, and that's why she asked them to sit still. Why did the soldiers start shouting when mother served them the soup? So there was this scene in the story that soldiers started to shout. And why did that happen? Let's find out in the answer of this question. The soldiers started shouting because they wanted chips, which were very different from the soup that mother served to them. They wanted to eat chips. They were dreaming about chips, and they found something else. That's why they started to shout. Reference to the context. We will be back at 12 noon. Have the chips ready by then. Sounds familiar? Who said these words and to whom? The dark-haired soldier said these words to the mother. So these words were said by dark-haired soldiers to the mother. What should be ready before they come? Try to guess the answer of the question. I didn't hear you. Let's see. Mother should have the chips ready before they come. All right? This is what they wanted. They wanted chips to be ready before they come, because they wanted to have the chips for their lunch. Why did the soldiers mention the time? Why did the soldier mention the time? Let's find out the answer of this question. The soldier mentioned the time because he wanted to have the chips for their lunch at 12 noon. All right? They wanted to eat chips for their lunch. That's why the soldier mentioned the time. Then we have these words, and we are going to try to make sentences. Reveal. The meaning of this word reveal is to let out, to show, let the truth be revealed. All right? He refused to reveal the identity of his client. Means he refused to tell, he refused to show the identity of his client. This is the sentence that we have made from this word reveal. Amazement. He stared at the animal in amazement. The meaning of the word amazement is to be surprised. Imagine that I am teaching you right now here, and I suddenly get to see a giraffe going here, and I would be staring at the giraffe in amazement like this. And if you're watching this video and suddenly you find a giraffe in your room, and you would start staring at a giraffe with amazement. Giraffe. That is amazement. All right? Handful. She gave me a handful of chocolates. So handful of chocolates, 10, 12 chocolates, in as much as you can hold in your hand, that is handful. Flavor. Which flavor of ice cream you like the most? Vanilla, strawberry, chocolate, whichever you want. Vanilla is a very good one, I think. It's very simple and very sweet and very nice. So this is it for today. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you very soon again. Peace be with you. God bless you.